Hey, welcome everybody. It's Adam bringing you a full 60-minute ish Vinyasa class today. Going to work on shoulders, hips, and spine mainly, but try to get the whole body going on. Yeah, settle in, 60 minutes. Let's find our way into a child's pose. Come on to the back of the mat, toes together, bring the knees open wide, let the arms stretch forward. If you're going to rest on the heels, let the hips rest on the heels. If your forehead can make it down to the mat, let the forehead make it down to the mat. And we'll take a few breaths here, just settling into the child's pose. Opportunity to find our breath, and also just a little bit of a hip opener here. So as you start to find your passive child's pose, maybe start to rock the hips back and forth and feel a little bit of movement, creating space in the hip sockets. And then take about 2 breaths here. So inhale through the nose, strong breath in. Exhale through the nose. One more time. Big breath in through the nose, settling breath in. You exhale through the nose. All right, now engage the core. Keep that idea of that breath we just created, that inhales and exhales through the nose, that strong ujjayi breath. And then your next inhale, we're going to come up to all fours. So go up to hands and knees, stack your shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, and we'll just start to rock side to side. We'll find a little gentle movement, putting some weight into the shoulders, into the hips, and seeing how things feel this, whatever time of the day you're taking this class. A slight engagement to the core. Step the knees together. And then we'll extend the left leg behind us and then place the ball of the left foot on the ground and start to press through that left heel. So just opening up through left calf, maybe feeling this back of your left knee. Still navel into spine, square through the hips. Just pressing back through that left heel. Now bring the shoulders over the wrists and we'll start to lift that left leg. Now we're finding a little bit of movement with the ankle, point and flex through the toes. Left heel is right in line with the left hip. Try not to get it too high up there. All right, now once that ankle's feeling good, point the left toes towards the ground. All right, take an inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to bend the left knee and open up to the side, just like a dog peeing on a tree. So feel that outer engagement to your left hip. And now slowly bring your left knee forward, maybe touching your left elbow or just brushing. Going to bring our left knee and just slide past the inside of the right knee. And then extend that left leg back. So that's a big circle we're going to make here. About 2 more times. Bend the left knee, dog peeing on a tree, coming forward. Touch the left elbow. Left knee to right knee. And then extend the leg back. Do that one more time. Take the big circle with the left leg. Bringing it forward towards the elbow. Brush the right knee. Extend it back. Now this time hold with the left leg long. And we'll extend the right arm forward. Now right thumb facing the ceiling, pressing through the back heel. And then press through your standing hand and your standing knee. So you get some length in both those appendages. Now feel the length, reach forward, kick back, take an inhale. And on the exhale, bend the left leg, reach back. We'll take this half scorpion, grabbing for the top of that left foot, either kicking into the shoulder, or if you're not quite reaching that arm towards your leg yet, just reach it in that direction. Gaze over the right shoulder, take one more breath. And as you release, extend both arm and leg again. And then right hand comes down to the mat, modified half moon. We'll keep the left leg extended. Left arm reaches towards the ceiling. And start to push through that left heel. So you get a lot of length here. And then we'll start to extend the left arm above the head. So very extended half moon pose. Now take this inhale, lengthen. And on the exhale, left knee to left elbow. Slow, methodical contact. 2 more like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Get as close as you can. We got 1 more like that. Lengthen on the inhale. And on the exhale, left knee, left elbow. Now listen close this time. Lengthen on the inhale. And on the exhale, bring your left knee in. And we're going to bring that left leg all the way forward into crescent moon pose. Plant the left foot just outside of that right thumb. Square the hips forward. And then we'll lift up into our crescent moon. Right knee is on the mat. Hips are square. Find your breath. So lots of warm up with the hips today. Now with the torso facing forward, flip the palms facing forward, ball up the fists, engage your shoulders, and slowly start to pull your arms down into this back bend. Gaze can shift up. Keep the arms engaged, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then keeping the chest pushing forward, let the arms drop down by the sides, palms facing forward, and find this big expanded chest. Press the chest forward, feel the shoulder blades draw together behind you. And then inhale, arms come above the head. Palms face in towards each other. Pull your left hip back. And then slowly start to sneak your torso forward. Arms are long. Your torso is going to sneak just inside that left knee. And then hands come down to the mat. We'll take this long, extended lizard pose. The gaze is going to come between the thumbs. Try not to bring the gaze down towards your left toes. That's fine for opening up the neck, but we want to try to find some length here. Left knee is really hugging in towards the left side body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Now drive that right hip down as you lengthen the spine forward. And then we'll slowly walk the hands back in. Let's plant that right hand, gentle twist. Left arm reaches high. So we're creating a lot of tension and openness in this right hip flexor. I'm going to take 1 more breath, look up on the inhale. And on the exhale, left hand comes down to the mat. And then we'll take Ardha Hanuman half split. So releasing that tension we're creating in the right hip flexor. Give it a little bit of a break here. Fingertips can walk a little farther forward in front of the left heel, putting pressure into the fingertips to help traction your left hip back. Next inhale, come forward. Plant the hands, curl your back toes. Take a 3-legged dog. Inhale, left leg lifts high. And then we'll bend the knee, open up half scorpion. So you can continue to make some big knee circles if that felt good, all that hip work we've been doing, or just stay in your half scorpion, pushing your left shoulder down. No right or wrong, just 1 more breath. And then meeting our way back into downward dog. Both feet to the mat, pedal the feet left and right. All right, now bringing the feet together behind us. We're going to get some shoulder activation in here. So on the inhale, let's pull ourselves forward into a high plank. Hold for the exhale. Take a breath in. On the exhale, bend the knees and press back into a downward dog. 1 more like that. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Hold on the exhale. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, let the knees drop down. Press back into your into your downward dog. And then from your downward dog, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, hover in your turbo dog. Let the elbows and the knees hover about 1 inch off the mat. Maybe start to push into the balls of the feet, bringing the shoulders a little farther forward. Hips right in line with the knees. See if you can get the elbows a little bit lower. Take 1 more breath. And then lower everything down, elbows and knees to the mat. Come back up to your hands and knees. Rock a little side to side. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So stepping the knees together first. Extend the right toes back behind you, toes on the mat. And we'll start to press through that right heel. It could be a little bounce here. It could be more static, whatever feels right for you. This is your practice. Listen to your body. All right, now shifting the way forward. Lift the right leg off the mat, keeping the heel in line with the glute. We'll start to point and flex the right toes, finding a little roundness in the ankle. Just getting the joints warmed up. And then once that feels good, pause here. Push the heel back, point the toes down. Take an inhale, feel the length in the right leg. And on the exhale, we're going to bend that right knee, open up to a little dog peeing on a tree, little half scorpion kind of thing. And then slowly bring the right knee forward, maybe touching the right elbow or just brushing the right elbow. Right knee is going to come around and brush the inside of the left knee. And then we extend that right leg back. 2 more like that. Bend the right knee, find that dog peeing on a tree variation. Right knee, right elbow. Right knee, left knee. Extend it back. 1 more like that. Find that big, slow, methodical circle we're making with our knees and our hips. And once you extend it back, pause here, point the toes to the ground. And then we'll extend that left arm long. Left thumb facing the ceiling. Press into your right hand, feel the shoulder engage. Then press into your left knee, feel your hip engage. Reach forward, kick back, take an inhale. And as we exhale, bend the knee, reach back. And grab the top of the foot, kick into the hand. Or if you're not grabbing the foot yet, just reach in that general direction. Feel this big opening in your side body. Nice little hip stretch. One more breath. And we release, extend both arm and leg long. And then left hand comes down to the mat. Modified half moon. Maybe kicking that left foot out to find stability. Keep the right leg extended. Right arm reaches high. And then start to extend the right arm towards the front of the room. And that full extension here, feel that in your hip flexor. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, right knee, right elbow. Get as close as you can if not touching. 2 more. Inhale, length. Exhale, knee to elbow. 1 more full like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. And this time, bringing the right knee all the way forward into your chest, coming forward into that crescent moon pose. Plant the right foot, square your hips. Inhale, the arms reach high. And as we exhale, we settle into our hips. Start to find some depth into your hips. Pull the right hip back, push the left hip forward. Feel the strength in your base. And then flip the palms forward, ball up those fists. And then just like you're doing a lat pull down, pull the elbows down on either side. Squeeze to the shoulder blades, shift the gaze up. Take this into an engaged upper back bend. And then keeping the upper body just where it is, drop the arms down by the sides, palms facing forward. Push the chest forward. And then slowly bring the arms back above the head, palms face in towards each other. Pulling your right hip back. Inhale, start to extend the torso forward. Right side of the torso is going to hug the inside of the right thigh as the hands come down to the mat. And then taking that extended long lizard pose. Right knee is pretty hugged into the right side. Thumbs are catching the gaze, so try not to look down unless you really need that neck stretch. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Maybe walk the fingers a little farther forward, get some length, but keep that right hip pulled back. And then 1 hand at a time, walk your hands back in. Gentle twist, left hand plants, right arm lifts. This nice gentle twist from the shoulders. 1 more breath. On the exhale, right hand comes down. And then we move into our half splits, Ardha Hanuman. You can sit all the way back on the left heel. I like to stay a little lifted just to give my hips a little more movement to play around with, but go where feels right with you. Maybe walking the hands forward, putting some pressure into the fingertips to traction your right hip back. And next inhale, come forward. Plant the hands, curl the left toes. We'll take that 3-legged dog. Inhale, right leg lifts high. Bend the knee, open up, find your half scorpion. And if you made those big knee circles on the other side and that felt good, go ahead there. If you stayed more in your static half scorpion, still finding minor bits of movement, you can go there. 2 more breaths. And then we'll square the hips, lengthen right leg. Downward dog on the exhale. We're going to go through those planks again, this time moving with our inhales and exhales a little bit more fluidly. So navel pulls into spine, engage your core. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. And this time in the exhale, bend the knees, press back, downward dog. 2 more like that. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Bend the knees, press back, downward dog on the exhale. 1 more time. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. And bend the knees, press back, downward dog on the exhale. This time from your downward dog, inhale, hinge forward, high plank. So we're going to go through a modified chaturanga. So we're going to drop the knees to the mat. Elbows hug in next to the ribs, maybe shifting the shoulders forward. Take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, your body comes down in 1 solid body part. So 1 piece of body coming down, chin and chest to the mat. Untuck the toes, hands underneath the shoulders. Low cobra on the inhale, just 1 breath in. Lift up the chest. And as you exhale, chin back down to the mat. Curl the toes, press back up to your hands and knees. And then downward dog on the exhale. So that's a modified chaturanga. We're going to do a few chaturangas today, so you can modify or add in intensity if you want to. This time a little more traditional chaturanga. So on your inhale, let's hinge forward, find a high plank, pause here. Now you always have the option to drop your knees for these chaturangas or skip them altogether. This one we're going to keep the knees up unless you want to drop the knees. So full chaturanga. Inhale, hinge forward. Elbows hug in. On your exhale, lower halfway down. Shoulders, elbows roughly in line. Pause here. On your inhale, flip over the toes, upward dog or low cobra. Pull the chest through, lift the gaze. And on your exhale, downward dog. Nice job. Walk it out. So we're going to go through 2 sun salutation A's just to get some blood moving, get the breath linked with our bodies. So go at your own pace, modify or intensify if you need to. On the inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Exhale, step, hop, or jump to the front of the mat, landing with the feet together as lightly as you can. Halfway lift on the inhale, press the hips back, reach the crown of the head forward. On your exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, inhale, sweep the arms high, full breath brings us up. Palms touch, exhale through center, all the way back to the ground. Halfway lift on your inhale. Chaturanga as you exhale. Plant the hands, moving through your vinyasa, lower down. Upward dog or low cobra on the inhale. Downward dog on your exhale. One more time through. Move with your breath. Inhale, heels high, exhale, knees low. Step, hop, or jump to the front. Landing as lightly as you can. Halfway lift, inhale. And fold, exhale. Circle sweep the arms high in the inhale. Full breath up. Palms touch. Full breath brings us down. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, plant the hands. Move through your vinyasa. Lower down. Modify or intensify if you need to. Meeting back in your down dog. Nice. Take a breath in. Open mouth, exhale. All right, inhale, lift the heels. Bend the knees. Exhale, step, hop, or jump to the front of the mat. Feet landing close together. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold on the exhale. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Palms touch. We'll take a standing back bend on the exhale. Soften the elbows. Push the chest forward. Engage the glutes. Try to keep the toes light. One more breath. Rise up on the inhale. Hands at heart center on the exhale. Pause here. On next inhale, left knee comes into the chest. One-legged Tadasana. I'll bring the arms down by the sides. We'll take this variation with the arms by the sides a few times today. So finding your balance here. Feel the chest pressing forward. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, warrior 3. Start to extend the left leg back. Arms reaching forward. So as you find your warrior 3, we're going to start to bend that right leg. Slowly, we're going to lower in the legs as we find our base. Arms lift high, and then settle in. Crescent moon pose. Now start to work on the quads a little bit. Let's bring our right hand to the top. Reach back and grab the top of your left foot. Now again, if you're not there yet, just reach in that direction. But if you can grab a hold of it, maybe start towards your left glute a little bit more and give you ability to sink deeper into your hips. And then pressing into this front knee to keep your torso lifted. And if you release and once that foot hits the ground, inhale, the arms lift high. And on the exhale, let's bring our hands down to the mat. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee. Bring your forehead to your right knee, press into that right knee, and then we press back into our pyramid pose. This is a pretty long pyramid pose. Your left heel does not need to touch the ground. It's just working its way there. Then start to find some openness in this right hamstring. The fingertips can walk a little farther forward in front of the right toes to give yourself some traction to pull the right hip back. We got 2 more breaths here. So try to get the torso long over this front thigh and sinking on the exhale. All right, now let's bend the right knee. Adjust your base. We're going to come into crescent lunge. So as you engage your core, lift up into crescent lunge. Left knee is high. Both hips are square to the front of your mat. And start to find some depth here. Pull your left hip forward. Right hip starts to move back a bit. Feel the engagement of your core. Now we're going to move back through that transitional three, moving to our one leg. As you straighten the right leg, left knee comes high, both arms to the sides. And then start to lift your left knee a little past your hip. So just throwing our balance off a bit, keep the chest pressing forward, palms are facing forward, squeeze the shoulder blades. Next inhale, straighten out the torso, and exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, arm sweep high. Hands on our heart center on the exhale. Nice, we'll just hit that other side up. Inhale, the arms sweep up, right leg lifts high. So finding our traditional balance here. And then we'll drop the arms down by the sides. Palms are facing forward, just press the chest forward for this first part. All right, now the arms come high on the inhale. We'll move through that warrior three variation on the exhale. The arms extend forward, right leg extends back. And then we'll start to bend that left knee, using your arms as the counterbalance. We're going to move into crescent moon pose, slowly dropping your right toes to the mat. Right knee hits the mat, arms lift high. And then we take a couple breaths to stabilize. So really working that negative resistance as we drop down into poses instead of lift up into poses today. Left hand comes to your left knee. Bend the back leg, reaching back, either reaching in the direction of the right foot or capturing that right foot. Then pressing into your left knee to keep the torso long, sink into the hips. Maybe start to hug your right heel in towards your right glute. We'll take about 2 more breaths here. So as you're sinking deeper into the hips, that might give your hip flexor and your quad a little bit more openness here. Last breath. All right, gently guide the back foot to the ground. I like to curl the back toes under. We'll lift the arms to get some length in the body. And as we exhale, hands come down to the mat. Back knee lifts, forehead to your left knee, and then press your forehead into your knee as you press back into your pyramid pose. Right heel driving to the mat. Fingertips can walk a little farther forward in front of the left toes to give yourself some traction to keep that left hip pulling back. Let's feel the length on the left side for 1 more breath. And then we'll bend the left knee. Find our crescent lunge base. So feel the strength in your base first. Engage your core. Inhale, we rise up, crescent lunge. Feel the squareness in your hips. Pinky fingers start to rock in towards one another. Lighten up your front toes, but press firmly through your back heel. All right, transitional warrior three again. So hinge the body forward, almost coming into a fierce crescent to find the counterbalance to lift up. And then we'll bend that right knee, drive it into the chest, lift up into our one-legged Tadasana, arms down by the sides. And then lift your right knee just past your hip line, maybe pull the shoulders back, start to expose the chest a little bit more. Strong in that left leg, 1 more breath. Straighten out the torso, arms can come up as we find our way into our full Tadasana. Beautiful. Inhale, arms sweep high. Palms touch, another standing back bend on the exhale. Take 3 breaths here. Push the hips forward. Open up the chest. And then change. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold through center. Your half lift on the inhale. Chaturanga, plant the hands, step back, lower down, flowing through your vinyasa. Upward dog or your low cobra on the inhale. Downward dog on the exhale. Nice job. Pedal the feet. Big breath in. Exhale. All right, feet step together. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, knee to right elbow, pause here. Big breath in. Hold for the exhale. Let's bring the right knee into the center of the mat, just hovering above. Then bring your right knee to your left elbow. Right knee center of the mat, just hovering. Right knee, right elbow. Yeah, 1 more pass through. Right knee hovering in the center. Right knee, left elbow. Right knee hovering center. Right knee, right elbow. Right knee into the chest. Lift up. Flex the toes. Crescent lunge as you step through. Inhale, rise up. And settle in. Hips are square. Been here a couple times. So feel the strength in your base. Take a deep inhale. And we'll find warrior two on the exhale. Drop that back heel, start to open it up. Arms open wide. Knee is right on top of this right ankle. Knee is moving towards the knife edge of the right foot, so don't let it collapse in towards the arch. Let that move towards the right. Flip the front palm, keep the depth in your base, reverse your warrior on the inhale. Opening up right side body. Stay deep in the front knee. Breath in. Side angle exhale. Right arm down, left arm extends high. Transferring that openness to this left side now. And then shift your gaze down to your right toes. Left hand comes to your left hip. Now we're going to take this into our half moon pose. Right arm starts to extend farther. You can shorten up your stance. And then we'll find our balancing half moon pose. Left toes are flexed back towards your nose. Left heel is pressing back towards the back of the room. Left arm can extend towards the ceiling. And this big openness here. Take a breath. Dekasana airplane as you exhale. Rotate left side body down. Arms reaching back. Lifting through the chest. Then bend your left knee. Drive your left knee into your chest as you stand up. One-legged Tadasana. And this time we'll take this into our tree pose. So you can take your standing half lotus pose, grabbing the knife edge of your left foot and placing it into your right hip crease. Or if you like your more traditional tree pose, left foot to your inner thigh. If you can take standing half lotus, it'll be a good opener for a future pose we're going to be doing. But find your tree pose, whatever version feels best to you. If you want to extend the arms or kind of play with any different variations, go ahead. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. And if you're in your standing half lotus pose, start to drive that left knee back. So really opening up through the left hip. Whatever tree variation, let's bring our hands back into heart. Left knee comes in towards the chest. All right, find that nice one-legged Tadasana. I'm going to bring my hands to my hips. And then step your left leg back, pyramid pose, a soft pyramid pose. So not a long one like we took earlier, just a little shallow pyramid pose, both heels on the mat. Lengthen the torso on the inhale. And as you exhale, hands come down to the mat, continuing to take the body weight as you fold into your pyramid pose. And really focusing on this right hamstring and right hip. The fingers might walk a little farther in front of this right hamstring or right toes to work on that right hamstring. Keep the traction back with the right hip. Take one more breath. And then standing split. Start to soften your front right knee. Lift your left leg in towards the ceiling. Now we're going to play around with a couple different variations of standing splits today. So if this is where you want to be, both hands on the mat, go ahead. If you like your inversion, go ahead with that. But we're going to take a half scorpion variation. So if you like, bend that left leg and start to open up the hips. And then keeping the right fingers on the mat, I like to bring my left hand up to my left hip and kind of coax that hip open a little bit more. Really finding balance on the right toes. Press to the ball of the right foot. Wherever you're at, one more breath. And then slowly forward fold on the exhale. And we'll step the feet about hip distance apart here. So making some room into the hips. From here, halfway lift on the inhale with our feet wide. Fold on the exhale. Soften the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Palms touch, and we'll take a wide-footed back bend. So the arms can be long, arms can be bent. We're giving ourselves a little more movement into the hips. And find your depth. Take one more breath. And change as you rise up on the inhale. Step the feet together and fold down on the exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant the hands, float through your vinyasa. Shoot back, jump back, step back, however you need to get there. Upward dog once you get there, or low cobra. Downward dog on the exhale. And then drop your elbows in that dolphin pose. So toes walk towards the elbows in our dolphin pose. If you are a fan of Pinchamandarasana or getting upside down in your dolphin pose, go ahead. If you're still working on those things, walk your toes as close to your elbows as you can. Bring your feet together. And then think about lifting your right leg. Gaze forward. Drive through the ball of the right foot. Try to keep the hip square. Try not to let that right hip open. One more breath. Both feet back into our dolphin pose, so inversion is coming back to dolphin. Nice press into the elbows. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, drop your knees to the mat. Knees hip distance apart. Tuck the toes as you lift up. Right hand reaches up. We're going to windmill the right hand back. Capture the right heel. Thumb on the outside, fingers on the inside. And take our half Ustrasana camel pose. Left arm reaches up and back. Drive the hips and chest forward. Keep the glutes engaged. As you start to come back, pressing into that right heel. And one more breath. And slowly rise up. Both hands come down to the mat. So we're more or less in our quadrupeds. And then step back to your high planks. All right, so knees can be up or down in your high plank. Step the feet together. Lift the right toes about an inch off the mat. And then we'll start to push forward with the left ball of the foot and find some movement here. So rocking forward and back with the shoulders. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, right toes down. Left toes lift. And then we'll start to push in the ball of the right foot. Just rocking forward and back into the shoulders. Really engaged into the core for our last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High plank. Both feet to the ground. Big breath in. And your downward dog on the exhale. Walk it out. Find some movement into the legs. All right. Second side, feet together. Inhale, left leg lifts high. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Pause here. Knee to the center of the mat, just hovering. Left knee, right elbow. Left knee, hover center. Left knee, left elbow. One more pass through. Left knee, center, hover. Left knee, right elbow. Left knee, center, hover. Left knee, left elbow. Left knee into the chest. Lift up on the back toes. Flex the left toes. Step it through. Crescent lunge. Rise up. And settle in. Find this strong base. Square through the hips. Shoulders are square with the hips. Take a breath. And then we'll take warrior 2 on the exhale. Drop the back heel. Open it up. Feel the engagement of the back leg. So from the knife of the back foot all the way through this right glute. Very engaged. Arms out wide. Front palm flips. Reverse your warrior. Lifting up. Opening up this left side body. Stay deep into your knee. Your breath in. Side angle on the exhale. Left arm down, right arm high. Transfer that openness to the right side this time. Right hand makes its way to the right hip. Left hand can start to reach a little farther in front of your left knee, moving this into our balancing half moon pose. So if there's a different way you want to get into this, maybe more challenging or more stable, go right ahead. And once you're feeling stable, right arm can reach towards the ceiling. Press firmly through the back of that right heel. Big breath in. Airplane on the exhale. Right side body hinges down. Fingertips reach back. Flare the chest forward. Our right knee drives into the chest as you stand up. And we'll take our either standing half lotus on this side, if that's where you went. Bringing the knife edge of the right foot into the left. Your traditional. Whatever you did on the other side, just try to mirror that. And set this up. Find your breaths. If you play, start lifting the arms, lifting the gaze. Maybe closing the eyes if you're very comfortable in your tree pose. And try to drive that right knee down. Working on the hip openings. And then we'll bring our hands back. Right knee comes forward. And then we'll step the right leg back for a pyramid pose. Short pyramid pose, both heels on the mat. Hips are square, lengthen the torso forward. And then as the hands can touch the mat, let the hands take the body weight as you come down. I really work on that left hamstring, left hip. You know, we still got some movement to go on this left hip. So maybe those fingers walking forward, putting traction into the fingers to help the left hip pull back might feel nice. And then start thinking about that transition into standing splits. So bending the left leg, maybe walking the hands a little farther forward as you lift the right leg. Remember your variations. So if you took the straight leg on the other side, go ahead. If you went into your inversion, go ahead. If you took the bent leg half scorpion version, maybe as you bend the leg, the right hand comes up to the right hip and just starts to help that right hip open. It's okay to put some pressure into your left fingertips for your balance, but also push the ball of your left foot so you know where the weight should be going eventually. Go to your biggest expression. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, feet to the ground, feet hip distance apart, and we'll find a gentle sway side to side. So if you have a lot of tension built up into your lower back from these back bends, bend your knees, let your chest and thighs rest together. If the tension's more in the hamstrings, keep the legs a little straighter. All right, now pause your movement. Let's toe heel those feet back to center. Take a halfway lift on the inhale. Fold, exhale. Inhale, sweep the arms high, palms touch. We'll take a back bend this time with the feet together. As you can see a little difference between the feet separated and the feet together. Arms can be interlaced. Arms can be bent. Take 2 more breaths here. Try to take the weight out of the toes. Press those hips forward. And change as you rise up. Fold as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Your vinyasa, plant the hands. Flow through your chaturanga, modify, intensify, whatever your practice is calling for right now. Meeting back in our downward dog. And then drop the elbows to the mat, dolphin second set. So we have some time. So if you want to play around, walk the toes in. This time maybe kick up with your left leg. And if you're still working on that, bring those toes together. Then inhale, lift the left leg high. Try to straighten your left leg as best you can, keeping the hips square to the mat. Sometimes that left hip wants to open up a little more. Push to the elbows. Gaze shifts forward towards the wrists. One more breath. Everybody meeting back in your dolphin pose. Nice, and then slowly let those knees come to the ground. Knees hip distance, toes tucked under. One armed camel on the other side. Left hand comes up and around. Capture that left heel. Thumb outside, fingers inside. Right arm lifts up. Reach up on the inhale and press the hips forward as you drop back on your exhale. Take 3 more breaths here. Constant pressure pushing forward, keeping the lower body safe. Last breath. And engage as you rise up, both arms high. Then hands come down to the mat. Step back into your high planks. All right, now from your high plank, step the feet together. Right toes lift off the mat, same deal. This time we're going to push and lift that right leg. So 10, 9, just pulsing that right leg. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release right leg down. Left side, point the left toes to the back of the room, and lift from the ball of the foot. We'll take 10, 9, little movements. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High plank. Breath in. Then we'll take a melting heart. Let's drop those knees to the mat. Maybe separate the knees about hip distance. Arms reach forward. And try to let your hips be above the knees. Chest is driving towards the mat. And your forehead could be on the mat. Your chin could be on the mat. The chin on the mat is going to be a little more of a stretch into your thoracic spine. So the front side of your neck. And take about 5 more breaths here. Two more breaths. Last breath here. Nice. And slowly lift the chest, come forward onto your elbows. Walk the knees in, walk the hands in, curl the toes, and we'll find our downward dogs. Pedal out the feet. So we have one more very active flow on each side. And that'll be putting together a lot of what we've been working on, giving you an opportunity to add some intensity to some of the stuff we've been working on, or just continue working on wherever you're at in your practice. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. All right, step the feet together. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, knee to right wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, knee to left wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, knee to right wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, knee to left wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Hold here. Flex the right toes. Crescent lunge as you step through. Adjust your base. Rise up. And then settle in. Nice. Feel the strength in your body. Now start to hinge the body forward. Using our warrior three as the counterbalance to pull us into that warrior three. Arms reaching forward. Left knee bends, starts to drive into the chest as you stand up. Pause here. Arms down by the sides. And then we'll cross our left ankle over right knee, figure four chair. Hands in a heart center. And then we'll slowly sink down to the hips. So this is a big hip opener. If you know an arm balance that you want to get into, whether it's flying half pigeon or your grasshopper, go ahead. If you're staying here in the stretch, hands can come into your heart. Elbows can come down by the shins. For me personally, I like to get a little deeper, turn my fingers around, press my biceps into my left shin, and then sink the hips. So using the biceps and the fingers as a little counterbalance to keep the hip in line as I sink down. 2 more breaths. Whether inverted, stretching, balancing, wherever you're at. Slowly start to make your way back. Figure four chair. And then lift your left knee into the chest. Hands to the hips as you step that left leg back. This time revolve triangle. Right hand comes into the right hip crease, pulling the right hip back. Left arm extends above the head, lengthening the torso as you come forward. Keep the right hip in line. Left hand can come down anywhere on the mat, maybe on top of the right foot or on either side of that right foot. But really work on keeping that right hip pulled in and back. If everything's feeling good and that hip's in line, you can start to lift the right arm towards the ceiling. Nice. Feel that big stretch on the right hamstring and the IT band. Reach the fingertips for one more breath. And then on your exhale, right hand comes down to the mat. Moving into that more pyramid pose. Walk your left hand a little farther towards the left part of the corner, or left corner of the mat than normal. At the next inhale, standing splits coming up. This time we're bending the left leg, taking that half scorpion version. If you have a specific version you want to take, go ahead. But we're going to take a revolved sugarcane version. So with the right hand, reach up, try to capture that arch of the left foot. And then putting some pressure into your left hand, we'll start to kick. Really opening up through that right IT band, the right glute, stacking our shoulders. Nice, one more breath here. Whatever variation you're in, come back down, right foot on the mat. Left knee starts to bend and drives into the chest as we stand up, one-legged Tadasana. Last time here on this side. This time turning this into a standing one-legged back bend. So really drive that left knee into your chest, push the chest forward, maybe shift the gaze up. Be okay playing around with this. 2 more breaths. Then straighten out the torso, arms above the head. Left leg starts to shift back. We'll take that warrior three transition into crescent moon. All the way down and back. Left knee to the mat, arms high as we settle in. And this time we're going to bend the knee, left knee, reach back. Grab the shin with the left hand. And then maybe reach back with the right hand and grab that same left shin. This time kicking into the hands, let the shoulders roll open. Chest lifts. Nice, sink deep into the hips. All right, slowly release that back foot, guide it to the ground. Arms lift high to get some length. And as we exhale, the hands come down to the mat. Curl the back toes under. Right knee comes into the chest. We'll take this three-legged plank here. I'll spin to the knife edge of the left foot, side plank. Right knee lifted in towards the ceiling. Whatever variation feels good here. Find some extension. Maybe find a baby bow. Nice, feel that strength in the upper body. Take one more breath. Right hand comes down to the mat, high plank. Stabilize your high plank. And then flow through your vinyasa. Last of two. Downward dog as you exhale. Nice job. Take a deep breath in. Big cleansing exhale. All right, last, a very active side. Feet together, left leg high, inhale. Exhale, knee to left wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, knee to right wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, knee to left wrist. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, knee to right. Inhale, knee to chest. Pause. Flex left toes. Crescent lunge. Stepping through. Rising up. And then settling in. Find your breath. And then start to reach the arms forward. Moving into that warrior three variation. Then once you're there, bend the right knee. Start to lift up into your one-legged Tadasana, arms down by the sides. And then right ankle over left knee, figure four chair. Try to remember what you did on the other side. So staying in your stretch, moving into an inversion, your twists, whatever felt good on the other side. I'm going back to that deep stretch. So bringing my biceps in front of the right shin. Walk my fingers towards the back of the mat. And then press my biceps into that right shin as I sink my hips. So lots of leverage here. 3 more breaths wherever you're at. Inversions start to make their way back. And then making our way into, from our figure four chair. Hands into hips. Right knee forward. And then we'll take the right leg back. The short stance back. Revolve triangle. Left hand into your left hip. Pulling your left hip back. Right arm reaching forward. And then as you come forward and down, right hand can plant on top of the left foot or on either side. Keeping left hand on left hip as long as you need to. Maybe start to lift that left arm, towards the ceiling. Find that full variation. 2 more breaths here. Feel the strength in that front leg. And then left hand comes down to the mat. Walk your right hand to the top right corner. And then move into your standing splits. Right leg lifts into the air. And then we're going to bend that right leg, put some pressure into the right fingertips, and then left arm reaches up, captures the right foot for our revolved sugarcane variation. Nice, wherever you're at. Find something challenging for you, something difficult, or something achievable in your practice. 1 more breath. Inversions come back down, the left leg to the mat. Right knee starts to bend, lift into the chest, standing all the way up, one-legged Tadasana. Arms to the sides. And then driving your right knee in towards your chest. Let the shoulders start to open up. Chest is pressing forward. And feel that one-legged back bend happen in front of you. And 2 more breaths. And slowly raise up. Arms lift above the head. Warrior transition as we bend the left leg, reaching back, slowly counterbalancing with the arms. Crescent moon pose. Right knee to the mat. Arms lift high. And then bend the right leg. Right hand reaches back, grabs the shin. Left hand reaches back, grabs the right shin as well. And let the shoulders come together behind you. The chest start to open up. Kicking into the hand. Gaze can lift. Sink into your hips. One more breath. And then we'll gently release the back leg. Arms high to get some length. Then as you exhale, hands down to the mat, curl the back toes under. We'll take that three-legged plank again. Left knee into the chest. Gaze to the right hand, spin to the knife edge of the right foot. We'll take our side plank. Left arm reaching forward, taking whatever variation you took on the other side. Being playful here. Find your fullest expression. And then slowly come back to your high plank. Stabilize your high plank. And then we'll flow through our last chaturanga. Lower down. Up dog or low cobra, inhale. Down dog on your exhale. And then drop your elbows down, dolphin pose. So our last set of dolphin. Opportunities to get upside down. If you haven't gotten there yet, maybe just kicking a leg up. Find a little rock, little jump. And try it on the other side too. Just about 10 more seconds here. Wherever you end up. Last bit of effort here in this pose. Then inversions, come back into your dolphins. Dolphins, everybody knees to the mat. Knees hip distance as you lift up. And we'll take our full Ustrasana camel pose. Hands, lower back, heart center, so whatever feels best for you. If you're pretty new to this, keep your hands at your lower back. That helps keep all your core and glutes engaged. All right, we'll just have one big set here. So 30 seconds on the clock. Push the hips forward. You can bring your hands back towards your heels. And find your last big camel pose here today. And breathe into it. Open up that front side. Let the shoulders draw back. And your last 10 seconds. And slowly come on up. Sit back, hips to heels. We'll take a quick embryo pose. So arms down by the sides. Let your body rest on top of the thighs, knees together. Forehead to the mat, arms reaching down by your feet. Breath in. Exhale. All right, lift up. Come forward, plant the hands, and we'll find our way into our downward dog. So we have one more hip opening pose we're going to get into to help link in the last bit of poses together. So not super active and always an option. Just bring the feet together in your downward dog. Inhale, right leg high. And on the exhale, we'll step into our half pigeon pose. Right knee behind right hand, right toes behind left hand. All right, and then we'll lift up. So if you like to take this as a more passive pose, bring the elbows to the mat, bring your forehead to the mat, whatever that feels good for you. But if you've noticed, we've been working on the quads quite a bit in the hip flexors, so you know, that opportunity to work into king pigeon or mermaid pose. Okay, so if you're working into those poses, walk your right hand into the center of your mat, so that's your stability, your right hand. And then we'll bend the left leg, reach back, try to capture the top of that left foot. All right, so same idea, either bringing that left heel in towards your left glute. All right, and if that's where you're at, stay there. If you're working into your mermaid pose, walk your left foot into your left elbow crease, and then we'll start to lift that right arm up towards the ceiling. If you're still working on your balance, as you kick into this right or left hand, the right hand lifts, and then it can set back down. And we're looking for enough pressure with that left leg to hold you up. And if you got that, right arm can start to reach up and back. Maybe start to grab the fingers, push the left shoulder forward. Let's find a couple more breaths here. All right, whatever variation you're in, if you're holding the bind, release the bind. If you're in one of the more passive half pigeon poses, press yourself back up to your hands. Those left toes under. Inhale, right leg lifts high. And on the exhale, step the right knee in between the right or the thumbs. Slide your left knee in behind it. And we'll sit back into our shoelace pose. So stacking the knees as best you can. If there's separation, that's all right. Just going to finish off strong into our hips here. Now, if you like a bind, you can go Mukasana the arms, reaching left arm behind the head and right arm up the back, grabbing fingertips. If you're not with that bind today, you either stay upright, or if you want to add some pressure into the hips, you can start to walk the arms forward and find your way into a little more active shoelace pose. Just a couple breaths here, not much longer. Two more breaths. And then slowly walk the hands back towards the hips. I'm going to come forward onto my knees. Left leg extends back, toes curled under. Inhale, three-legged dog, right leg high. And then give that right leg a little love again. All right, both feet to the mat. Half pigeon other side, feet together, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee behind, left wrist, left toes behind the right. And taking the variation that felt good on the other side, maybe as a starting point on this side. And then seeing if you can build on it, need to subtract away from it, whatever that is. But finding some breath here, finding some openness in this left hip. And then taking this either to your elbows or chin, or if you took this into your mermaid pose, let's plant those left fingertips in front of the left shin. Bend the right leg, reach back. Left arm starts. Maybe grabbing for those right fingertips. Gaze starts to shift forward. And we'll take about 3 more breaths here. If you're release the back leg. Square the hands and shoulders to the front of the room. Curl the back toes. Inhale, lift the left leg high. On the exhale, left knee between the thumbs. Right knee slides in behind it. And then we'll sit back into our shoelace pose, second side. And you might need to adjust from this as well. Knees might be not be as stacked as they normally are, or might have a little separation. And if you went for your Gomukhasana arms, this time the right hand comes from the top down, left arm comes from the bottom up, grabbing for fingertips. And if that didn't feel good, stay upright, or if you're adding pressure into your hips, walking the arms or letting the torso come forward in your Gomukhasana arms will help with that adding pressure. Find your breath. Let's 2 more breaths. And slowly start to press yourself back up. If you have the bind, release the bind. Rock forward onto the knees. Right leg back, right toes curled under. Inhale, left leg high. And then we'll give that left leg a little love. Open and close the left hip. Find a little movement here. And then once you make your way back to your downward dog, we're going to come onto our bums. So if you like to jump through, lift the heels, bend the knees, step, hop, or jump through, or just come onto your butts. Grab onto the shins. We'll make our way onto our backs. A little rock from side to side. Let's bring our feet mat width. We'll let the knees fall in towards each other. Arms out to the sides. And just let that pressure start to release from your hips and also maybe from your lower back. And just a few breaths here. One more breath. And then we'll bring both knees into the chest. And we'll take a plow pose from here. Lift the legs towards the ceiling. Hands come to your lower back as you start to lift the legs up and over. And then we'll feel this tension we've been creating in our lower back start to release out here. If you'd like to journey from here into your shoulder stands, you can place your hands at your lower back, elbows pressed into the ground as you lift the legs up towards the ceiling. I'm personally going to stay right here in my plow pose. Just a couple more breaths wherever you end up. And then from wherever you're at, we're going to move into a happy baby. We'll slowly letting the vertebrae hit the mat one at a time. Knees separate to either side of your torso. The hands capture the feet. And then we'll find a gentle sway side to side. A little bit of movement here. Pulling down with the knees, pressing up with the feet. And our last active pose here. Let's keep the right knee into the chest, let the left leg go long. Let's end with some twists today. Drawing your right knee in towards the right shoulder, give it a couple squeezes. Feel the psoas start to release on this right side. And when that feels nice and good, we'll take our final spinal twist. Left hand will guide the right knee across the body. Right arm can extend out long to the side. Gaze up towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you're at, or maybe gaze into the right palm. Soften your jaw. And then slowly square the hips back to center. Squeeze your right knee toward your right shoulder. And then release the right leg long. Left knee comes in. Squeeze the left knee around the ribs and in towards that left shoulder. Fingers interlacing on the left shin. Give it a few rounds of breath here with the squeeze. And then we got our final spinal twist on this side. Right hand's going to guide that left knee across the body. Left arm extending out to the side. Then choose where you'd like your gaze. Maybe look at the ceiling or the sky. Just find your breath. And then we'll make our way back to center. Squeeze your left knee in towards that left shoulder. And then bring your right knee in next to it. Both knees into the chest. Grab the shins. Squeeze everything to center on one more breath in. And as you exhale, release into your final Shavasana. Extending the legs long and arms wide. Take up as much space as you can today. Beautiful, beautiful practice. Great job moving your body. Lots of different transitions today. Lots of hip opening, lots of back bends. Drink some water after your practice today. Start to flush all that stuff out. Stay here as long as you can. Enjoying this final resting pose. But for us, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to guide you through your practices. Remember to like the channel or subscribe to the channel if you like it. Like the video, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.